So Conor Benn has started our night of boxing, started the big pay-per-view on Sky Sports box office tonight, which is going to be headlined by Kell Golovkin. Now tonight he fought Joe Ducker, and I'm going to get on to the fight in just 30 seconds, but before I do, let me tell you two things about Joe Ducker. Number one, Joe Ducker was always intending to attend tonight's fight night at the O2. He'd actually bought tickets as a fan to sit in the upper tier and got a late doors invite to fight Conor Benn, which he stepped up and take. Number two, Joe Ducker has never won a professional fight. In fact, in the two times that he's been in the ring before, he's had one loss and one draw. So before I talk about Conor Benn's performance, we have to factor in that he's facing a guy here who's never won a fight and who was brought in at very late notice. Having said that, Conor Benn looked really, really smart in there. I think it was his fourth professional fight tonight, and do you know what? There's been so much improvement already in the first four fights of his career. In the first two fights, for me, he looked really, really sloppy, but he's calmed down a lot. He's boxing much more nicely. He's developing a decent jab, which he's using. And one of the things I like about Conor Benn is there seems to be some decent variety in his work. Obviously, it's only at this sort of level, but he's stepping off and boxing nicely behind that quick, accurate jab. You know, he's busting an opponent up even over the course of one round with that jab. Then he's stepping in. He's stepping in inside the pocket, and he's throwing shorter punches. He's not neglecting the body. He seems to have decent hand speed, decent athleticism, and some sort of power. And he looked pretty tasty in there tonight, I've got to say. Obviously, the opponent was well overmatched, well out of their depth. But nevertheless, Conor Benn looked like the sort of guy who is got the potential to fight at a much higher level with what he was showing in there. And the second round stoppage in devastating fashion for Conor Benn, having dropped his opponent on several times. One observation I would make, I believe tonight's fight was at the light welterweight division, although I'm not 100% sure what Conor Benn weighed in at. But looking at Conor Benn, I wonder if he may be better at lightweight. For a start, I don't think he's the biggest guy at light welterweight. I actually think he'd look potentially kind of small, certainly next to a Tyrone Nurse or a Ricky Burns or someone like that perhaps. I don't think he's got the biggest frame, and I think that size, if he wants to use his jab, he may be better off at the lightweight division where the guys are slightly smaller, slightly less rangy. I think secondarily, the other thing to mention about Conor Benn is, maybe if he was fighting down at lightweight, he seems to have some natural power, but maybe the punches that he's throwing, the punches that he's landing would be real heavy if they were down at lightweight. And the guys, I know it's only a £5 difference between lightweight and light welterweight, but you may find that those punches are landing with a lot more snap. But yeah, Conor Benn, he's an exciting prospect to follow. Obviously, that surname, the Benn brand that's attached to him, is always going to generate interest. But the way he fights, the explosiveness, he's becoming a very entertaining fighter to watch. I imagine Eddie Hearn's going to keep him at this sort of level for another 3 or 4 fights, and I don't mind that. He's still very raw, still very green, and there's a lot of room for development, and getting these type of experiences is going to stand him in very good stead. So, I don't mind that at all, but maybe in 5 or 6 fights, when he's stepping up to 8 rounders or something like that, we'll start to get an impression of just how high his upside could be. Let me know your thoughts, guys. Were you impressed? Obviously, the opponent wasn't up to much, but from my eye, Conor Benn put in an eye-catching performance, and it's showing a lot more to his game than he did in his early fights. He's working on that jab, showing a lot more variety, decent work inside, decent work to the body, picking some nice punches, and I enjoyed it. Let me know your thoughts, guys. If you've enjoyed this video, please hit the thumbs up button. If you're new to the channel, do take the time to subscribe. I'd certainly appreciate that. Many thanks for watching.